Welcome to the Concrete Briefing. I am your host, Carter Concrete. Today, we are not just reporting news. We are deconstructing the blueprint of a titan. We are diving deep into the recent explosive dialogue of the podfather himself, Joe Budden. This isn't just a conversation. It is a masterclass. It's a masterclass in sovereignty, survival, and the shifting tectonic plates of digital media. Joe Budden is a man who transitioned from the rap game. He reached the peak of a media empire without ever muting his internal volume. But behind the headlines lies a story of survival. He survived what can only be described as a slow-motion suicide and turned his recovery into a revolution. Tonight, we analyze the roots of his defiance. We look at the cultural history of the independent creator and the strategic arguments that have redefined what it means to be a free agent. Strap in, this is the briefing. To understand Joe Budden's business acumen, you must first understand his survival. The story begins in the shadows, a narrative that carries the weight of a psychological thriller. Budden admits he was once a pillhead, carrying no less than 40 pills of Percocet and OxyContin at any given time. He speaks with a haunting clarity about obtaining them in bulk. He notes with chilling gravity that he thanks God every day that his addiction peaked before the fentanyl era, a factor that saved his life. We must argue that Budden's current intensity is fueled by the realization that he is living on borrowed time. He emerged from the brink when a man has faced a 100% chance of death. A $40 million contract from Spotify doesn't look like a deal. It looks like a different cage. His past addiction is the motherboard of his present focus on mental health. He now guards his morning peace with ferocity. This isn't just business. It's a survival mechanism adapted for the boardroom. Let's talk numbers. The industry was shook by the Spotify rumors. Budden allegedly turned down over $40 million. To the average observer, this is madness. To the journalist, this is a calculated chess move. Budden argues that taking the money up front is a trap. He's not looking for a payday. He is looking for equity. During his tenure at Spotify and Complex, Budden was inquisitive. He realized that advertisement deals were made contingent upon his specific voice. Yet he only received a tiny bump in his contract. Budden repeatedly uses the phrase, "I don't jive with that." Culturally, this reflects a hip-hop ethos of authenticity over everything. It is the language of Jersey City meeting the corporate boardroom. He views himself as a free agent because free agency is getting what the market bears, not being bunched under a corporate umbrella. His history at Def Jam and love and hip-hop was defined by a lack of control. His pivot to Patreon was a strategic move. It put the power in the hands of me and my fans. Budden predicts that in the next 5 years, current media behemoths will become obsolete. The live sports factor. Budden argues that for YouTube or Netflix to be taken serious as a network, they must own live sports. The late-night evolution. He posits that personalities like Kai Cenat have a new late-night television. The traditional format is dying. The interactive, creator-led format is the future. Budden bypassed traditional agencies to hire his own internal ad team. A creator shouldn't rely on a company that takes 40% and tosses you aside when you go off script. He points to figures like Joe Rogan. Rogan and Charlemagne secured massive deals, but Budden doesn't compare his race to a white man's race. He looks at IP ownership. Ownership of black examples like Kevin Hart and Stephen S. Smith is his true North Star. Budden has often been labeled messy. He clarifies this as healthy mess, entertaining, lighthearted, and designed to keep the audience engaged. He's a cultural critic. He states he cannot steal second base while keeping his foot on first. If he's in the media, he must dive all the way in. His introverted kid roots combined with the braggadocious 2000 era created a personality that is both sensitive and highly performative. He understands that he talks for a living and sometimes says too much, but insists it never comes from an ill place. As we wrap this briefing, we look at the evolution of Joseph Budden through the 20-30-40 rule. At 20, he was a wordsmith from the streets. At 30, he was in peak depression, dealing with music business trauma. At 40, he is a media mogul prepping for his 50s, building a dream home and a catalog of IP. Joe Budden's story is a thriller from the brink of overdose to the boardroom. Budden isn't just a podcaster. He is a sovereign entity. He doesn't want an invite to the cookout. He wants to own the land. He wants to own the land the grill is sitting on. I am Carter Concrete, and this has been the Concrete Briefing.